Hi all! In this writing workshop you're going to learn about three topics that will be useful for writing your essay. First, I will present you with an outline of a suggested structure for your essay. Then, we will study the definition and examples of an argument in a philosophy essay. Finally, we will examine some popular cases of invalid arguments or fallacies. Here is a suggested outline for your essay. You can follow this structure or use another one as long as you answer one of the questions of the prompt and defend your perspective. If you follow this outline, you will write at least 4 paragraphs. The first one will be your introduction, which contains a thesis statement. Also, in the first paragraph, explain how you're going to defend your thesis. In your second paragraph, write your first argument. This depends on whether you're answering the first or the second prompt. If you chose the first prompt, remember that you should present a comprehensive interpretation of Heidegger's essay entitled "The Question Concerning Technology." If you chose the second prompt, you must explain the critique of artificial general intelligence that Ragnar Philland develops. In the third paragraph of your essay, you should write your second argument. If you chose the first prompt, you must describe the implications of this transformation or lack of transformation for human existence and society. If you're answering the second prompt, you should explain the reasons why you agree or disagree with the ideas that Phelan presents in why general artificial intelligence will not be realized. In the last paragraph, you can conclude reaffirming your thesis. Now, what is an argument in a philosophy essay? An argument is a coherent series of reasons, statements, or facts intended to defend or prove an opinion. It is the answer to the following question: why do you have that opinion? Let's go over McLuhan's main ideas that we studied this week. He is of the opinion that the medium is the message. Some of the reasons that he gives in favor of this opinion is that media and technologies shape our relation to ourselves and to others. They change our consciousness and our forms of association and action. He also defends this opinion with examples, such as the railway, that created new kinds of cities and new kinds of work and leisure. This technology extended our field of action and allowed the performance of new activities. Another example that he uses to prove this point is that electricity led to a transformation of what we do, how we do it, and the scale of our actions. Some connectors to introduce or close an argument. Because. You state the opinion, you write because, and then you write the reason why you have this opinion. The journey was quite quick because the road was clear. Since. You write since, the reason why you think that, and the opinion that you're putting forward. Since we have got a few minutes to wait for the train, let's have a cup of coffee. Therefore. You write the reason, and therefore your opinion. We are ethical people, and therefore we do not approve of their activities. You have here a long list of connectors. You can go back to this slide when you're writing your essay, or send me an email and I will send you this list. Specifically, a philosophical argument involves an explanation of obscure or technical terms. For example, for Heidegger, enframing consists in. McLuhan says that we live in a global village, which means that we are now involved with everyone and everything. In this essay, I understand Heidegger's concept of a way of revealing as a way of thinking, perceiving, and interacting with the world. Now let's study 5 types of fallacies or invalid arguments. First, we will study hasty generalization. Second, begging the claim. Third, circular argument. Fourth, straw man. And finally, we will study appeal to false authority. Hasty generalization is a conclusion based on insufficient or biased evidence. In other words, you're rushing to a conclusion before you have all the relevant facts. Let's see an example that I didn't write. Even though it is only the first day, I can tell this is going to be a boring course. In this example, the author is basing his evaluation of the entire course on only the first day, which is notoriously boring and full of housekeeping tasks for most courses. To make a fair and reasonable evaluation, the author must attend not one but several classes and possibly even examine the textbook, talk to a professor or talk to others who have previously finished the course in order to have sufficient evidence to base a conclusion on. Begging the claim happens when the conclusion that the writer should prove is validated within the claim. For example, filthy and polluting coal should be banned. Arguing that coal pollutes the earth and thus should be banned will be logical. But the very conclusion that should be proved, that coal causes enough pollution to warrant banning its use, is already assumed in the claim by referring to it as filthy and polluting. A circular argument restates the argument rather than actually proving it. For example, Barack Obama is a good communicator because he speaks effectively. In this example, the conclusion that Obama is a good communicator and the evidence used to prove it, he speaks effectively, are basically the same idea. Specific evidence such as using everyday language, breaking down complex problems, or illustrating his points with humorous stories will be needed to prove either half of the sentence. The strawman happens when someone oversimplifies an opponent's viewpoint and then attacks that hollow argument. For example, people who don't support the proposed state minimum wage increase hate the poor. In this example, the author attributes the worst possible motive to an opponent's position. In reality, however, the opposition probably has more complex and sympathetic arguments to support their point. By not addressing those arguments, the author is not treating the opposition with respect or refuting their position. Appeal to false authority. This fallacy happens when using an alleged authority as evidence in your argument when the authority is not really an expert on the facts relevant to the argument, or as the audience allowing an irrelevant authority to add credibility to the claim being made. For example, my accountant says that within the next 90 days the president will be impeached, so we should take this claim seriously. Unless the accountant has some inside information to the presidency, her expertise in accounting has little to do with the current administration, political and constitutional law. That's all. Hope today's lecture will be useful when you write your essay. See you soon.